Hey guys, welcome to this 3-part tutorial series. Short introduction before we get started. If you guys aren't familiar with us, my name is Christina.
And I'm Omercan.
And we're both professional illustrators and concept artists working in the industry. We're also behind the channel Polycosm, which covers concept creation from a 2D and 3D perspective. And that brings us to why we're here today. In this 3-part tutorial, we'll cover how to take an idea, like a Mobius-inspired city set in the desert, and turn that idea into a more realized concept using Photoshop, Substance 3D Modeler, Blender, Painter, Stager, and Unreal Engine 5. In part 1, we'll start off in Photoshop, where we'll show what kind of references we've gathered for our concept and how Omercan was able to interpret those references and come up with a unique concept through exploration sketches. In part 2, I'll jump into the highly anticipated and newly released software, Substance 3D Modeler, to sculpt the entire city using VR mode exclusively. And finally, in part 3, after some back and forth between Omercan and I will then take the completed sculpts into Blender for some manual remeshing, jump into Painter for some high quality texturing while using Stager for texture previewing, and finally bring all of these assets together in Unreal Engine 5. Just so you guys are aware, going into these tutorials, we'll mostly cover all of the Substance softwares, but if you're interested in seeing me cover the Blender and Unreal side of things, feel free to visit Polycosm on YouTube. A video should be out real soon. Alright, let's get started.
Before we begin sketching, I'll go into some detail on the story behind our project. We were interested in creating a small settlement with unusual architecture. Our initial inspiration came from some of the environments in the old Mist and Riven adventure games, and the very unique and organic buildings drawn by Jean Giraud, aka Mobius, the legendary comics artist. The story we came up with as our starting point was about a group of settlers living on these coral-like structures growing out of the ground. Living on ground level is hazardous in this world, so the only option is to build on these coral-like rocks by carving into them. Problem is, they keep growing, so over time the people living here will have to keep building up while trying to keep their homes from getting covered up. Alright, it's time to draw. I'm going through my initial sketching phase in Photoshop to illustrate how I tend to think when I'm designing something. As I'm working on these, I always have a Moodboard full of references and inspiration open on another screen to help guide my design process. But I'm also a fan of diverting away from the reference whenever I deem appropriate. This initial sketching phase is meant to be loose and messy, at least for me. I'm always impressed when I see other artists who can sketch very neatly and in a strict step-by-step manner, because that is just not how I work. So unfortunately, you'll all have to sit here and watch me make a mess around in Photoshop. At this stage, I'm working in a mostly orthographic view, so I can focus on basic elements like silhouette, proportions, and overall shape design without having to worry too much about perspective. Another important element is of course the story that encapsulates this whole design process, the why and how of these structures. In the back of my head, I'm constantly thinking about how these coral-like structures will be growing out of the ground, how the people who build these buildings adapt to it, how can they move around and live their day-to-day life in these places. From a technical standpoint, my approach is very simple. I'll pretty much use the same tool to draw the whole time and maybe change my brush when I'm laying down some values. I use just a couple of layers most of the time and try not to overcomplicate things in the sketching phase. Putting down a lighter value for the coral and a darker value for the buildings help the silhouette pop out of the canvas a little more, so it's easier to read the overall shape. Also, it helps me keep track of the proportional relation between the coral and stone. Ideally, it's a good idea not to go 50-50 when you have two distinct elements within the same design. I'm aiming to have one element more dominant than the other for each individual structure, as this provides a more dynamic looking result. I really like the Liquify tool, and I use it a lot in my work. It's an incredibly easy and quick way to make adjustments on the go. It basically lets you sculpture drawing. It's great. Although this is pretty early on for this in the process, I still wanted to throw some color down to start thinking about how we might approach that later on. Again, this is still the brainstorming part, so I try not to shy away from throwing ideas out there. I wanted to see how it might look if these structures were built over an ocean, and in the next one I tried to place them over a desert. I'm also exploring how we can use texture and color to differentiate the two separate elements. Finding the right balance for how much these elements should contrast or complement each other can be tricky. We want them to look distinct enough, but not too much that they start to clash together. After the first pass of rough sketches, I went ahead and sketched a couple of thumbnails to show how we might place these structures together to create our final scene. These are not meant to imply what the final scene might look like at all, as we don't even have any finalized structure concepts just yet, but to demonstrate roughly the idea we want to explore as we progress and how we might want to present that. This helps us both stay on the same page and also helps the client to get an idea of our direction early on. After talking to Christina about the first pass on the sketches, we picked one that we were both happy about and decided to iterate on the principles established in that sketch. When Christina and I are working together on a project, we like having a lot of back and forth throughout the different stages. This way we can stay on track easier and avoid any miscommunication that might cause issues later on. Right now, I'm letting myself get into a little more detail than before this time around, as I feel like we have a design direction to follow now. I'm also trying out a different texture for the coral parts, as the previous approach wasn't quite working for our purposes. During our discussion, Christina mentioned that she could use some Callout drawings to help her understand the actual forms and overlaps. So I'm basically taking parts of the design and drawing those areas in perspective with more detail to clarify my intentions. It's easy to get lost in your own way of thinking and assume that your design is as clear to others as it is to yourself. But most of the time, 3D artists will require really detailed drawings to clarify every design decision so as to avoid any misconceptions. Although in our process, we don't find it necessary to have a fully detailed production drawing, but we instead keep it open as a dialogue between us two. I'll intentionally leave certain things open to interpretation for Christina, so she can bring in some of her own vision, and then I'll reiterate on that as necessary. That part will become clear later on once Christina roughly blocks out these structures in Modeler. This is the final concept sheet that I'll be turning over to Christina. We have enough variations and Callout drawings for her to get started. Although this doesn't mean we are quite done with the concept phase just yet. In part 2, I'll be drawing over the rough sculpts Christina has created in Modeler to help her develop them further. This is where we'll conclude part 1, but tune in to part 2 to watch Christina do some Modeler magic.